guys, it's Danielle over at DIYDanielle.com, and today I am making an easy toilet paper holder. We have an older toilet paper holder in our master bathroom that keeps falling apart every time I put a toilet paper roll on it. If there's anything I hate more than putting the toilet paper on the holder, it's putting it on multiple times because it keeps coming off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some 1x6 into the size I need, and I'm going to show you how I do that. Okay, to start, I wanted to get an idea how much space the toilet paper rolls would take up together. So they're going to have, this is a side piece, and there will be a second cut that goes here. And I'm going to use a dowel through to hold the toilet paper on. But first I need to cut this to the right size. What I did is I measured out 15 inches because it seemed like about where I want it to be. And I'm going to cut two boards that are 15 inches long. Okay, so now that I've cut these each to 15 inches, make sure you have a nice straight line if you want it to look nice anyways. I am placing my toilet paper rolls side by side. I want to see how far apart I want these in order to give them a little bit of space so they can roll without, you don't want them, you don't want them squished up real tight or else they might be hard to turn. So you want them to be a little bit spaced apart. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the distance between these two sides to figure out how big I need for a board for the back over here. We are doing 3 1x6s that are 9.5 inches, I think. I think these are 9.5 inches. So I'm going to go cut these down to size because I originally did these too big. I was going to put it up a different way. Okay, so ignore this piece here. It's just holding up this one. So this is going to be right above the toilet paper, which will be here. This is going to be the back, and this piece will actually go in the front here towards the bottom to hold everything from, like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Holy moly. Yeah. I'll show you that after, but we're going to attach this middle piece as one of our first steps. But the first thing I want to do is just create a little hole on either side for the dowel to go through to hold the toilet paper. Okay, so I was looking around, couldn't find a dowel. I feel like I have some somewhere, but I do have an old rake handle that has broken, and so I decided to cut off a piece of this, and I'm hoping this is solid wood the whole way through. So I'm going to cut off a piece, and I'll be using that, marked where I need to cut, and then I need to figure out what size holes I need to drill for the size of my dowel, or whatever you want to call this. Okay, here's the dowel I cut. Okay, nothing fancy. I will sand this down and make it a little bit nicer once I go to finish the whole piece, but this is where we are right now. Okay, so I've got my two boards lined up. I placed my dowel and my toilet paper where I want them. So I'm going to remove the toilet paper, and then I'm just going to trace a circle around the dowel to get the right placement. Okay, as you can see, I added a hole for my toilet paper holder piece and my dowel. And it'll go through like that. And again, you want it to be pretty even so your toilet paper is at an angle. I did screw up. I made the hole with a small spade bit, realized it wasn't big enough, or I knew it wasn't big enough. I don't know what I was thinking. I was hoping because it was the only one I could find. And then I realized I had a bigger one, but once you have the one spade bit that you've used, you can't just upgrade to the next bigger size. It just doesn't go through. So I wish I'd used that correctly to begin with. If I had done it correctly, I would have been using a 1.5 inch spade bit for this size dowel. So just something to think about if you are doing yours. Okay, so our next step is to add our shelf here. Okay, so pocket holes seemed like a good idea. They weren't a good idea, and I wish I just screwed from the outside. Just screwed from the outside, y'all. I don't know, it seemed like a good idea. I wanted to get fancy. Anyways, the other ones will be screwed from the outside because we're not going to do that today. We're not going to stress ourselves out doing extra anymore. Okay, so here's our other two pieces. I mean, it'll work. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's not, if it was weight bearing, it would be an issue right now. So we're gonna put this between here and screw in from the outside on either side. Hopefully this will tuck it in a little bit more. So this is gonna go in the back, and I'm gonna go screw that in. Okay, so it's attached. Got 2 screws on each side. And now we have our last piece, which will be our front portion. And I am actually going to cut down the height of this a little because I don't want it to be completely covering the front, I don't think. I mean, it'd be fine if it did, but I may just cut off a bit of the front. Yeah, maybe like right here, just to make it a little lower. Okay, so here's what I did is I cut the board in half, and I put the bottom half here, and then I cut another sliver off, and I put this here. I noticed that because I'm only using 1 screw here, because I can only fit 1 screw, it does turn, but I kind of like I think I might leave it with the point out here, because I kind of like the look of it. Now the next step is I'm going to sand these pieces down, paint them, and then I'll be finished. Okay, so I want to carve out a little section that is can rest on the curve here. So what I did is I made a mark on either side with a pencil, and now I can take my carving stuff and just try to carve a little bit of a indentation. Now I don't carve. This is not something I'm skilled in. I have carving stuff, and I'm going to attempt this. I know there's probably a tool for this, but I don't think I have it, so I'm not going to bother trying to figure that out, but there we go. Okay, so I think my husband said we would have used a little I don't know how to say that. Anyways, for this, if we really wanted to do it right, but we don't have one. So I just tried to carve a little bit of a gap just on one side, and we'll see how it works. It seems to do okay. I'm using a pizza box to paint on because I'm gonna have to throw this away anyways, and might as well get 2 uses out of it. So I'm just gonna stain all this, and then I will dry brush it white once the stain's dry. Okay, now that the stain is dry, I could keep it like this, but instead I'm going to dry brush white over it so it'll match my toothbrush holder that I also have up in that room. So I'm gonna dry brush this and let it dry, and then I can put it up.